I only see a black screen. It says Angel has started sharing, but I don't see anything but that.
Okay, cool. Let me see. How about now?
Yep, now it's good. You're good
Cool. All right. Cool. Just give it a couple minutes to see if anyone else is joining. All right. All right. All right. So. All right. Let's just give it a couple of minutes and see if anyone else is going to join. Okay. I see that we got some people on YouTube. Let me just give some time for the ones that are going to be on the Zoom call. Meantime, coffee. All right. How are we doing here? Okay. All right. So it's 6:05. We're starting. Meantime, it's gonna mute myself for 2 minutes. All right. So we're gonna start in about 1 minute. Okay, checking that here. Good, good, good. All right, confirming. Is audio good? You guys can hear me well?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. All right. Hitomi, I'm gonna make you host. So you are able to, in case someone joins late, you can basically give them access to the platform. Okay. Okay. All right. So you're the host. All right. I think that's 6:05. So let's get started. We got YouTube ready, Zoom ready. We are ready. So let's get this party started with a sip of coffee first. Good. All right. So welcome everyone to another Kubernetes South Florida, Kubernetes and Kubernetes South Florida meetup. This is a second virtual meetup. Hopefully we can do midterm soon, one in person, so we can do a traditional meetup where we all can hang out, mingle a little bit, get to know each other, share some other stuff. So in the meantime, we're just doing this online. So hope that we just can bring you a much value as possible. And we usually do this at the end, but I'm gonna do it at first so everyone can hear it. And so if someone out there that like to do a talk, by all means, please contact me or Hitomi, and for sure, we would like to have you give a talk, whatever it is, any level is fine. So basically, this is just for the whole community, so we can learn from each other, can share some thoughts and stuff like that. So, more than welcome to join us as speakers as well. So, all right. So, having said that, let's dive in right into the today's topic. And today, we're kind of doing a continuation from my previous talk about scaffold. So we were showing how scaffold works and how we can speed up the development process. For today, I would like to stand that, and now let's talk about Kustomize. And Kustomize is the tool that I used behind the scene to do some manipulation of the YAML. So I would like to get more into that, so you guys can have an idea like what was the magic that Angel was doing behind the scenes. So this is gonna make more sense now. So for that, we're just gonna do an introduction to Kustomize. So, all right, a little bit about me. For those that might not know me, my name is Angel Ramirez. You can find me anywhere at AR Ramirez using the 4 instead of name, anywhere, GitHub, LinkedIn, whatever. Everywhere that's my handle, Twitter, except for Instagram. Someone took it, so I have to use an underscore at the end. So I'm the CEO and principal engineer at Quemby. Got over 15 years experience writing software, doing architecture, backend, whatever you can think of. I already did it, DevOps and everything. But lately, I've been passionate for everything related to cloud native, especially Kubernetes, which is why I got my certification as a Kubernetes administrator. I'm CNCF Speaker Bureau member. So if any other meetup is listening and they want to have me speaking or conference, you can contact me, and I'm more than happy to share whatever I know with the community. And like I said, big advocate for the cloud native stack. That's what I love to do, and that's what we do. 3 things that I would like to share is that I love to share my knowledge. That's the 3 pictures that you can see there. The second thing is playing sports with my friends, and the third, and one of the most important one, is to spend some time with my love and traveling the world. So that's what I do, and those are the 3 things that I like. All right, so that's enough about me. So let's continue. And okay, we get some sort of like an agenda, right? So we're going to talk about 4 main topics here, and one of them is a demo, of course. But the first thing is like, what is Kustomize? We need to define what it is, what it does, etc. How can I use it? That's important, because we talk about Kustomize. You might want to know, how can I use it? And we're gonna have a quick demo. I'm gonna show some stuff there. Of course, I cannot show every single feature, but I'm gonna do my best to give you a good knowledge of what it does and how you can play with it. And of course, we have to do a comparison at the end. So of course, I don't think there's that many tools right now for manipulating this type of files, but let's just compare with Helm. Like probably what everyone else knows, and it's the 2 most used tools that at least I'm aware of, and so far. So let's just do a quick comparison about that and get that done. But before we get into anything, I need to make this happen. I need to show this. Let's go ahead. I didn't thought that we were gonna get that far, and I think we got further than I could even think of. So I'm pretty sure that we can make a little further than that. So let's go ahead. All right. So that's enough. Let's get into the first topic. So what is Kustomize? I just took this from the website, and it's pretty straightforward. Kustomize is nothing but a native configuration management tool for the Kubernetes YAML files. They claim to be a template-free way to customize applications, configuration, and simplify the use of the off-shelf applications. I know what this really means. In other words, what Kustomize does is allow you to have all these bunch of YAML files that you have in Kubernetes and organize in a way that makes sense to you. And this is very important because I'm going to get into a comparison later, but that's what really makes Kustomize shine, which is that you can make your own configuration, you can make your own organization. So it basically is very, very free for you to use, and you can basically do whatever you want. It's very flexible. And it, of course, it's built into the kubectl command. So that's a pretty powerful feature. So meaning that you don't have to install any other binary, you don't need any other dependency, is already on the same binary that you use to talk to the cluster. So that's a pretty powerful feature that I strongly believe that has. And you're gonna see in a moment. Now that we already can have knowledge about what Kustomize is, let's jump into like how can I use it. And you might say, do you really need a whole slide for this? Yeah, because the reason why I made a whole slide only for 2 points is because that's one of the biggest strengths. I just said it. All you need is a one customization YAML file in the folder. That's all you need. And the second step is just apply. And if you can see, I'm literally saying kubectl apply. I'm just changing one flag. So for those that used Kubernetes before, I'm going to do one quick demo. Is that you might see that usually you use -f, so you can apply a file or a folder. In this case, we're using -k, which basically means calling Kustomize instead of the regular files for Kubernetes. And that's pretty much it. You give it a folder, good to go. So that's very powerful, and we're going to see that in action in just a little bit. But before we get into that, I just want to make sure that you all know, if you have any questions, you can either shout it out here on the chat, on the Zoom call, or here in YouTube as well. You can just pop your question in the chat, and he told me, and the team is going to help me out to either gather that question and basically share with me. So you can interrupt me anytime. I'm fine. All right. So that's it. That was it. That's all I have in terms of slides. So we're going to jump right into a demo and then see how we can make this happen. So part of this demo, I'm just going to type it out by hand. So bear with me. Mistakes might happen. And so we pray to the demo God that nothing happened. Okay. So let me just stop sharing this screen and let me get into the actual editor. 1 second. If I can find that sharing screen. Okay, got it. All right. Can you see my screen? Is that a good size, font size?
I can see it. Oh,
But is that a good font size? I mean, it's legible.
yes, but I think on YouTube, I don't see your screen. Yeah, nice.
Oh, okay. So it's good now, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Perfect. All right. All right. So let's do some Kubernetes cluster commands. So I'm going to share this, of course, once I'm done. I just created a quick 2 bash files for those that might want to try this at home later. And we have a cluster up and cluster down. So right now what I'm doing, I'm using Kind as my cluster. It's a local Kubernetes cluster for testing and stuff like that. So if I do kubectl, let's just state that it works. Let's get nodes, and it's only one node. That's all I need. I'm not gonna do too much. And you can see my configuration is basically right here. So I'm just gonna show you real quick what I did. I created this bash script. What basically does, it just call kind, create a cluster, I give it a name, and tell it to export my configuration to this folder. And after that, I just did export kube config equals, and then just give it a current path /config. So I don't have to do it. I already did it, but that's something that you can see that that's how we're doing. Just not have any notification coming up. So we're all on the same page. All right. So now that we have the cluster, I want to walk you through like what would I do if I have to. What would I be doing before Kustomize and after Kustomize? So before Kustomize, this could be pretty basically, it's basics for Kubernetes. I have my YAML for deployment, it's one app called Nginx app, whatever, really doesn't matter the name, and I'm just gonna deploy it, right? So I got my service, and my service has pretty much standard. I need to give it my name, a selector. This is very important because I need to make sure that my application is going to be, tied into these pods using that label. And because it's the same label, it will work. Cool. All right. So we get this, and this is good, right? So no big deal. Let's just apply. So, and this is the first thing that I want you to notice. So I'm doing -f. I'm making sure that I'm just applying regular Kubernetes. And before, I just gonna type that, I'm gonna say app, and I'm gonna give it a folder. If I give it a folder, what it's gonna do is just gonna get the deployment and the service, and it's gonna apply, right? So let's just do that. And as you can see here, it was created. Nothing fancy here that I'm showing. It's all good. Let me just check that actually is working. Make sure. So one pod running. Okay, cool. All right. So this is before Kubernetes, before Kustomize. So what would I do if I have another application, another microservice, whatever you want to call it at this time? So, well, straightforward. I will do the copy and paste style. Just gonna rename it. I need to come back here and say now this is gonna be called app one, right? Or app one. Let's just call it app one. And then I had to come back here, deployment. Now because I already have an Nginx app, now I need to rename it because I cannot have two Nginx app. So I need to come back to the service. I'm gonna rename it and also do that one. So I'm just gonna do it again. So you see that it works. So I just created it, right?
Angel?
Yes?
Sorry to interrupt. Can you make the font a little bit bigger? Just maybe one.
One more. How about that?
Should be good. I think so. Okay.
Is it better?
Yes. Thank you.
No, this is good. So I want to make sure that everything is visible. So perfect. All right. So here's the first problem that I can see. So I literally have to do a copy and paste to basically do almost the same to deploy a microservice and application where that somehow, some way share a common structure, only change some values. So that in my world and the way that I work is a big no. I can't do that. I'm gonna start getting itches and I'll be screaming. So that's kind of why I'm gonna now show you how we can fix this in Kustomize, because I can't deal with this. This is too much, right? So before I show you how I can do it in Kustomize, so you can see actually what is why this is a big deal. I'm just gonna show you. This is not gonna be, I'm gonna apply it or anything like that, but I'm gonna show you how you can end up with a basically 715 lines of code of YAML file. This is just an example that I literally just got from Google. They have this demo app, which is a store, and they use it as a demo. But you can see that it's a pretty long file, which is not what we want. I mean, I know this is just an example, but you can pretty much end up with something like this if you keep just adding stuff. And I took one measure of secure because I split it into multiple files, but I've seen it before like this, and this is not readable. If you need to make a change, you literally have to, like, I don't know, do a find and see if you basically replace it in everywhere that you need to replace it and stuff like that. So that's not maintainable. And so that's what we're gonna be fixing now. So, all right, how can we fix it? Right, so if you remember in the slide, we say, okay, so to use Kustomize, all we need to have is a customization.file. And we're gonna look into that right now. This is it. So this is all you need to have Kustomize, Kustomize ready. So you can call it, all right? So, but of course, you need to make some changes, which we're gonna be doing right now. All right, so let's do something. All right, before I have a deployment and a service. Okay, so let's make this happen. So let's just fix this. All right, so let's just create. All right, so we know that we need a deploy file. So let's just type this out, right? And we're gonna call it my app. But the interesting part here is that if they all share the same structure, they just change some stuff. Well, we can call this a generic name, right? We can call it, instead of my app, we can call it deploy, right? So it's just a deployment, right? And then we can say, well, for now, let's just make sure that it's an Nginx and we're using a Pine, so we should good. So far, so good. So at this time, for now, we basically have exactly the same information that we have in the other deployment. That's literally what it is. You have that. Okay, cool. Now let's get a service. Let's write a service file, right? And just apply. Let's just say I want a service. Cool. Of course, once again, if we're using this as a base, we can just call it service right now. Cool. So we're just gonna give it port. We're gonna want to see at 3000, and then we're gonna, the target port is 80 because that's the target in the deployment. So for those that are curious about how I got that 8080, so I'm just exposing the container in the 80. I want to read that in the 80, but I want to expose the service on the 3000. So far so good. All right. So okay. So how can I use this now? Okay, pretty simple. All you have to do is just call resources. So resources is the way that we can just tell Kustomize, all right, so whatever you do before you start, these are the resources that you're gonna apply, or this is your files, Kubernetes files, right? So we're gonna call the deploy file, and we're gonna call the service file. All right, so let's do this now. And let's just apply. Let's just see how it looks like, right? So we can visualize. I'm just gonna save it into a file, so it's easier for us to read. So let's do an apply. This time it's gonna be -k, and then I'm gonna do after. I'm just gonna leave it like that, and of course we're gonna do a dry run equals client. I'm gonna output that as a YAML file, and I'm gonna save it into, I don't know, output.yaml. I don't care right now, this doesn't matter. So let's just close the terminal one more time and see what that generated. So as you can see here, it just generated a normal Kubernetes file, but I want you to notice a couple of things. So it does add a couple of annotations by itself, most likely because it wants to know the last supply configuration and that kind of stuff. So we're not gonna get into that, but just notice that it has that, right? But look at this. I mean, it really didn't change anything, right? It's just the same thing that if I just do kubectl apply. So Angel, what's the difference? Okay, right now there's no difference because all we did is just literally call the resources and apply them. Now let's start seeing the difference, like what can I do extra that makes sense? All right, so first thing first, we were looking into like, as you can see, let me just keep this open here. It has the namespace default. Okay, cool. All right, that's fine. But what if I want to have a different namespace? What if I don't want to apply the default namespace? It's going to be a different one. All right, so why don't, instead of going file by file, you don't call and say namespace, and let's call the namespace develop. Doing that, if you can see here now, the output, now all the namespaces are in develop. That simple. I didn't have to go file by file, change it, and make sure that I apply the right configuration. So that's a simple step. That's just baby step. Okay, so what else? So if we recall, our application have different app labels. So if I do want to apply this, everyone has the same label. Okay, makes sense. So how can we change that, right? Okay. So the first thing that we will do is actually opening the deploy and the service. And this is going to be a little weird, but bear with me for a second. I'm going to remove the labels. I don't want them. I don't want labels, nor in the service, neither I want them in the deployment. Right? So I'm just going to get that out of the way. We're just going to have a pure, basically deployment, no label, no selectors. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to go to customization and say, all right, here, now I want common labels. Okay, so that's basically hash. So I got a message here. Let me see. Chat. Oh, okay. So I got a question here. Question: what does the -- dry run client do? Interesting. So the dry run, what it does is basically it does exactly the same process of doing all the configuration, everything that it needs to do, but instead of applying that into the actual Kubernetes cluster, it just show you or attempt to do it and give you a feedback. So for example, if I want to test something, I want to make sure that whatever I do, I want to test it out. I want to make sure that it passes, but actually don't do it. I will just do dry run. So you're just gonna try, but it actually won't do it, but it will give you a feedback of if it were done already. And the follow-up question to that probably would be like, what do you do with the -o YAML? So basically what I said was, okay, try to do it. Give me the feedback if it's something valid that I didn't mess up. But whatever you actually are going to apply, output it as a YAML file, right? So if I don't do the ampersand, the less than out, if it's going to print it out on my screen, it will be hard to read. So that's why I got the output and just pass it out to one file. So good question though. That's a good one. Okay. So going back to the common labels receive is a pair, key value pair. So now if I want to specify some common labels, I will say, okay, cool. I want to say that one label is going to be app and the value is going to be my app. So what I'm expecting now is that for all these files, it will apply the right labels. So let's see if that happens. Cool. Let's just look at to the output and voila. So now every single, so if you can recall, I removed all the labels, but Kustomize was not smart enough to understand that if I'm passing a label, it should be attached to the service so it can read the pods. It should be attached as a selector it should be attached into the template itself, because the deployment has a label, but also that the same match label has to match the template label. So it basically was smart enough to know where it goes. And those are like basically functions built in the Kustomize binary, which is good. Now we're getting somewhere. So I can apply some labels, but how can I have multiple applications? Because right now, all we have is exactly the same label. So if I want to have multiple apps, it will have the same label. So it will be hard to maintain that. How can we organize this in a better way? So before we do some organization, I want to show you another thing that you can do, which is, all right, so right now, if you look at the output, right, you see that the name is, like, for example, for the service is service, for the deployment is deployment. That doesn't sound right. So it's not what we're looking for. I want to have a name that makes sense, my app or whatever. Cool. All right, so let's do something. Let's just say, let's use prefixes or suffix, whatever you want. So let's just try one or the other one. But so let's just do name prefix first. So I want to make sure that for all the objects that we apply, I want to append a prefix. And in this case, it's going to be app1. And then I'm going to change the common label because I want to have app1. Perfect. And then I'm just put a dash. So what this should do is, for on all the objects, it should append app1. Or let's go, you know what? Let's be nerd. I mean, I'm pretty sure that some of you are nerds, so let's just start the array in the right way. So let's start with 0. So app0 dash. So it should append the app0 in front. So let's take a look now. All right. So, okay, we're getting better, because now if you can see the name, it says app0 service. Now it makes sense, because now we know that, okay, so this application that is running is the app0, and this is the service. If we go to deployment, it's the app0 deploy. It's making more sense right now. Of course, remember, this is just Kubernetes internal name, so it doesn't have to be pretty. You don't have to have any specific pretty name, so you can have it whatever you want, as long as it makes sense to you. So far, I mean, for my understanding, it makes sense. So I'm good for now. Now let's now start breaking this down into other applications, because it doesn't work for me if I have to have, you know, why do I have to have app0 all in one? But if I have to do app0 again, do I have to copy and paste all over? Kinda, but it's gonna be a little different. Let me show you something real quick. So let me close the before, because we're not gonna use it anymore. We passed that. So instead of just making a copy of after and just call it wherever, I think at that point we're just making exactly the same mistake. In this case, instead of being 2 files, 3. So let's make it better. Something that I like to do is, my approach is, I like to have a base. So I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to call it base. So what I'm going to do is going to have all these files. Let me close them. All these files, I'm going to pass it as base. So now I have a base folder with a customization.yaml. And I'm going to create now another folder called app0. So now it's different. So let me just make a copy of the customized.yaml file, right? But I don't have resources anymore in that folder. So what should I do? In this case, I'm going to change it. Instead of having resources, I'm going to have is base. And you can have more than one base. So this is pretty good, because you can go crazy, and we can talk about that later, because I want to make sure that the demo is done, but you can go crazy on this. You can have your own way of doing things. But let me just show you this real quick. So now I'm going to say, okay, my base, you can find it, ... it's going to be called base. That's it. That's all I need to do. Let's call app0, right? So we're still working on the namespace develop, prefix app0. You're going to say, Angel, You just literally have the same information in the other customization. What's the difference? Well, the difference is in this customization, I don't need this anymore. All I need is this. Because now the other customization file is going to inherit whatever is in here, and it's going to basically put it on top of it. So it's like doing a cardboard copy every time and trying to put it on top of it, and whatever is the latest is going to be applied. So what would I do in this base? I would put in this base whatever I feel is going to be common for all the applications. And I'm going to show you that in 1 second, but first, let's just test this. So app 0, let's just try to apply it instead of the base. So let's go back here. Gonna be after, and let's gonna call it app 0. So let's see what the output said. So let me just close this for now. All right, so perfect. So I apply app 0. It actually got the same thing, which is good. That's what we're trying to get. Same outcome, minimal change. All I did is just create a folder. I put it this customization.yaml, and I just removed some information from the other one and got it in the new one. So we're good. Now, let me show you what means if I change the base. So this is the base. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, you know what, let's just do a common label. Let's say I want all my applications to have the same label, and let's call it my organization, right? Acme. I don't know, that's my organization. So I want to make sure that all my objects, everything has that label, because I want to make sure that I can later on do X, Y, and Z with that. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. So let's now apply that. And now you will see that you have two labels. Not only have the label from the app 0, you also have the label from the base. Why? Because there were two different two different labels, so it won't get replaced. You're just gonna append it. So that's what I would use base for. Anything that you want to have in common. So as a promise, let's now create multiple applications. So for that, all I'm gonna do is, okay, I'm gonna create a new folder. Actually, I'm gonna copy this folder. It's gonna be easier. Paste it, and now I have app 1. So, well, and you're making a copy and paste. Yes, but I'm just copying one file. And all I have to do is just change this to 1. I don't care about the base about the base. I know that that's good. Someone in my team is taking care of that. It's the maintenance of that file. Everything is good. I don't have to repeat the whole thing. I don't have to change the ports. So it's good. So I'm just gonna change that. The namespace is fine. And then I'm gonna apply it now via app 1. Cool. Let's just take that out real quick in the output. And voila, we have app 1, app 2. So app 1 is there. I don't know, app 2 could be anywhere, but that's app 1. So having said this, that now give me an opportunity for me to so I can have multiple applications. So let's assume that, because this is important to explain. So this base and resources, that could be basically applied. It doesn't have to be in the same folder. It could be a remote repository. So this opens up a new world where you can say, you know what, I'm going to have a repository with all my base, all my modules, how I want it to be a standard. And then all I have to do in my microservice is just call that base or whatever, and having only one customization file. And I only put in that specific folder the configuration for my application. So that actually is very powerful, because now if you need to change something on the base, you don't have to go to every single repository that is using that base. You actually change it just in one place, and it gets applied to everywhere because it's basically calling that file. So that's very, very powerful. So let me show you now another thing, which is interesting. So what I would do in this case is like, all right, so what happens if I have multiple environments? So everyone have developed, I don't know, let's just call it whatever. staging and production. Okay, so we have the application folder, that's fine. So why we don't do something like this? Let's create another base. Now, okay, cool. So I'm gonna create another base and I'm gonna create a bunch of folders here to make it a little faster. I'm gonna create a develop, I'm gonna create, I don't know, production, and I'm gonna create staging. I'm gonna speed up a little bit because I want to make sure that I can share all the stuff here, but in case of time. So I'm gonna paste the base here, and then I'm gonna say, this base is gonna inherit from the other base. I need to add another step out, of course. So I'm gonna remove now the namespace because, of course, we don't want to have the namespace in the same place, right? For everyone, we just want to change that. Cool. So now let's just copy and paste. It's gonna be real quick, no worries. Not gonna take too much of time. Copy and paste, and then we move this here. So I'm gonna get it now into develop, and develop, you have to have that namespace. We don't need the name prefix anymore because it's gonna be applied to everything. I mean, we're talking about the same application, that's not gonna change. We don't have to repeat this common label, but instead, let's just call environment, and we're gonna call it develop. Cool. Let's do the same. Sorry, let me just copy and paste. So hold on one second. I had to go one up and paste. Cool. All right. So just go to production, the staging. Let's do the same. I'm gonna make some couple quick changes. So for the sake of time, staging. Cool. All right. So that's interesting. So now I have inside app for another 4 folders. I got base, which is the one that is going to be calling my base. And then I have 3 more, which is each environment, right? So now I can have develop, production, and staging all in one, in one folder, just having one file, right? So which is good. Now we can basically say, let's just try to output what one of those environments says. Let's just call production, just whatever for fun. Say production and see what it says. All right, so it's open production. So interesting enough, now we have, okay, we are in the right application, it's app 0. We got the organization label and we got the environment label. So this is powerful. Now I can have all my environments, regardless of which one it is, all separate. They all have different information, right? All I have to use is have one file. Of course, in this case, I do have 4 folders in one place because I'm just trying to make this a demo. But put yourself now into like, okay, so I have a CI, my continuous integration, or my continuous deployment, right? How can I now have different environments without having to basically copy the whole manifest everywhere and trying to make replacements using a string or regs and stuff like that? So basically this simple. You only have to have that customization file YAML. As long as you call in the right bases, the right resources, you're good to go. So you can have those very well organized, and also allow you to have all this stuff centralized. So if having your own repository or multiple repositories where you're managing these files and only change the place that really makes sense, not everywhere. So that's a very powerful feature that I can see here in Kustomize. So I want to show you a couple more stuff. I want to show you, for example, what happened with the, how can I integrate now, for example, secrets, because I'm pretty sure that you'll want to know about that. So secrets, okay, so let's just try to integrate secrets. So let's say that for development, I have a secret, and I'm gonna call it secret.env. I don't know, it's gonna have a foo equals bar as environment variable. I don't care. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. When people are looking at this from YouTube, your video is blocking the command line.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how can I take that off. to be honest, because I think that's just a feature.
Okay, no problem.
I'm gonna try to see if I know, but I'm not sure how to do it, to be honest.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're typing, we can see the, what you're typing. We just see the first one, so it's okay. No.
Okay, I'm gonna try to keep it into like the middle, so I can basically make sure that you can see it. Right. Cool.
Okay,
thank you for letting me know. Any questions so far before I move on? No questions?
No, I don't see anything posted.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's move on then. So now we have a secret. All right. So first thing first, let's call what we call the secret generator. And this is a built-in feature in Kustomize. I'm gonna sheet real quick because I do have that already. So let me just grab this from here and configmap. Gonna be faster. I want to make sure that I don't have to spend too much time on that, so I just can explain it. So these are the two built-in features that Kustomize has, which is configmap generator and secret generator. For those that are dealing right now with secrets and configmap, you should already know that every time that a secret change, you have to change the configmap, you have to change the secret, and then you have to reroll all the puts. So the good thing about Kustomize is that with these two functions built in, it's hashing every single secret, every single configmap generator. So you basically don't have to do it by yourself. It will do it for you. When you apply the file, it will already know that the configmap changed, so it will reload the pods automatically, regardless of if it's a secret generator or a configmap generator. I cannot go through every single way of loading a configmap. This is the one that I like the most because it's the one that I use the most, but you can load a configmap from a file, from an environment variable, literal. You can basically literally put the values right here. I won't recommend it because the point of having a secret is that it's not in plain text somewhere. So using these env files or environment variables is the one that you're most likely going to use, especially if you try to run this in a CI environment. So let's now configmap.env. So now let's do this. So now we have, and I'm doing it on the development environment. I'm going to show you why I'm doing it here, and then I'm going to change it, right? So here in the development environment, I just added the configmap generator and stuff like that. So now I'm going to go to my base because I cannot forget this, otherwise it will fail. Let me just copy this portion here. There you go. So this is just a straightforward, one second, if I can copy at least. This is just a straightforward Kubernetes. I'm just gonna add here this level. No, it didn't copy. Okay, we just try it again. All right, so copy, and we can do it. There you go, paste. Okay, so I'm just saying, okay, get my environment from, and I'm loading whatever you have in the config map, load it as an environment variable. Whatever you have in secrets, load as an environment variables. Straightforward, nothing different from what you all know already about Kubernetes. The difference though is that when I run now my development, EMS, unknown field EMS, what part? 1 second. Interesting. 1 second. Secrets, EMS. Did I mess up something here? Secret.ems. Oh, I think it's env. You see, this is a nice thing about doing live. Maybe because this. Just try it again. 1 second. It's EMV. All right, give me 1 second. I have my notes here. Yeah, because where was it? I think it's because they changed the API. So no, it's supposed to be fine. What did I miss here? Maybe just 1 second. Promise this works. So this is fine. So because I was using this customization configmap.env, secret.env. Yeah, that's good. Beta 1, and then in beta, which one? Beta 1. Yeah. This is interesting. So that means that for some reason, it's not recognizing that field. Let's try with just using AMP instead of, and see if that's what it is. No. All right, so let's kind of use the documentation and see what was wrong. So 1 sec, secret and config maps, files, data. What did I do wrong? Data, name, and tracing the env. So I'm doing it correctly. So why is telling me not? What it says here? Config. Oh, it says that I cannot find that file. Okay. My bad. I read that wrong. Woo! Okay, good. All right, so that was a mistake in layer 8, meaning me. Okay, so now what we got on the out. So as you can see here, automatically it creates the config map and the secret for us. So that's already done. But look into this, like the name is config map and it's appending a hash, meaning that every time that I run this, it's going to be a different hash if I change something. Just for now, I'm just going to copy this, right? And by the way, before doing that, I'm going to show you how it appends that automatically here. You see, is calling this from here and environment from, okay, 1 second, I did another mistake here. Let me go to the base and it's config map and secrets. Let me make sure that I'm writing the right names. Config map and secrets. So config map and secret. Oh, I see what's going on. All right. So this is interesting that happened because this is one of the things that happened to me before, and it's funny. So if you want the config map to have a ripple effect in your base, you need to declare that from the beginning. So meaning that here in my base, I need to have this. Let me show you what I had before. I had to have that, and wait a second, copy this. I need to have it here because I'm expecting that to be, and then I have to have a behavior, and it's going to be merge. but the merge is gonna be here. Let me test that real quick. Hold on. Nope. All I need is this. All I need is this. Let me try that. Okay, now I need to do the merge here. The behavior is going to be merge. Come on, there you go. And then the behavior here is going to be merge. Because otherwise, it won't work as expected. Now let's check it out, the output. And now I'm going a little fast, but I want to make sure that we can test it out. There you go. Now we're talking. So now you can see that the reference, it has the hash. And the reason why is because that's how it works. So basically we need to make sure that our base knows from the get-go that we are going to be expecting some secrets. You don't have to give the secret right there, but you need to let it know, hey, you're going to have some secrets and some config maps. Then when you actually have the secret and the config map, then you tell it, by the way, I want you to merge this secret with whatever you think you're expecting in the base. It's gonna be merged, and then as you can see here, it's actually applying the right name. So meaning that every time that I change something on the secret, I'm gonna keep this. For example, I'm gonna copy this real quick and keep it in my clipboard. And I'm gonna now come back here to one of those files, and I'm gonna add another one, and I'm gonna give zoo kitty and the config map, and then that should change this config map here. Let's just copy it. Here, I'm gonna copy, I'm gonna run it again. And now, yes, indeed it changed. So if you compare, the hash is completely different. Meaning that now we can make sure that every time that we change a file in the config map or whatever, it's going to regenerate that pod. So we don't have to do it anymore manually. It's gonna do it by itself. So I know that I'm running out of time. The last thing that I wanna show you, because I'm pretty sure that, like I said, I didn't cover basically anything, but I hope this is a good introduction for you. But the other thing that I want to show you is, okay, what happened if I want to just like deploy all in one Angel? I don't want to waste time. I just want to say, go ahead, apply. All right, so this is one way to organize it. But the other way is you can say, you know what? You can call this the deploy, and then you can have a customization file, right? It's just paste in here. And you just can say, you know what? My base is gonna be / app1, and I want to have another call app0, and then we're gonna call it production. I don't know, whatever. So let's just see what that does. So instead of calling all that, you just call after, and then we're gonna say deploy. Cool. Let's just check that output. That output now has not only app1, but also app0 production. So what I'm trying to say with this is like, yes, you might have a lot of folders because the Kustomize need that kind of folder structure so it can load those bases. But just because you have it separate doesn't mean that you have to do it. You have to apply them separate. You can basically create, let's say, a folder called production, and that production, all it does is just call all the production version of your applications. 20, 30, 100, 1 million, whatever it is. So that in that way you can organize not only by application, by modules, you can also organize by environments. So now you can have your own environments that just calling all the modules, and those modules are calling all the bases. Like I said, I don't have time, but to wrap up, you can basically create your own structure, whatever it fits your need. Some of you might need more folders. Some of you might need just one repository. Some of you might need multiple repositories because there are multiple bases. Whatever fits to your need, you can basically do it. So I'm gonna stop the demo here because I want to have a couple of minutes for. I'm not sure I understand. I didn't talk to you, Siri. Siri is always in the middle. she needs to show up in every single demo. So because I want to talk about this. So Kustomize versus Helm, and even though that this talk is about Kustomize, I'm not going to trash Helm. That's not what I'm trying to do with these verses. But you need to understand what's the difference and what you're getting into, for sure. So in one side, Kustomize, I'm gonna start with Helm. So Helm, because you already saw Kustomize, so Helm is gonna be pretty easy for me to explain right now, which is Helm is basically give you more, in my opinion, it's more opinionated, right? So you have, when you're creating a package, you have a structure that you kind of have to follow. It's not super tight. I mean, it's flexible, but you need to follow that. You need to have the way to pass in values, either via YAML file or whatever. But the thing that I will say that is different, not wrong, different, is that you need to know the Go templating engine. Because everything that they do is basically using the Go templating engine to replace values in those files. So in the other hand, Kustomize, you don't need anything else. You already are using YAML and you're already using kubectl. So you really don't need anything else. Now, you need to weigh your options. If you're okay using the Go templating engine, you're okay having some sort of like an already predefined structure that you need to follow, a packaging way to do it, Helm is for you. It's fine. You can just do it. And probably we will do a Helm talk soon, but that's fine. Use Helm. I mean, most of the installation right now for this probably like Istio or whatever, using already Helm, but some of them already also using Kustomize. I mean, some of them using already both. For application, I mean, it's my opinion. So sometimes I don't need to have a whole package to deploy my application because the applications are usually things that I change a lot. So I don't want to have like to deploy to a raised package or having that package and do it every time that I need to make a change. I know that you can most likely make it super generic enough that all you do is just passing values. That's one way to do it. I just haven't feel like the need of doing that for applications. So applications I feel is more suitable for Kustomize, and maybe more like services are more suited to Helm. Like for example, if I need to install my SQL database, I mean, doing that in Kustomize, you could. I just feel like it's gonna be a little more. You're gonna have more. It's gonna be a little tedious because you have to manage multiple files and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't feel like it will be as clean as just having Helm. And there's already a bunch of Helm for MySQL, for example. But in an application where I feel like Kustomize is easier, it's suitable, something that I can just manipulate pretty easy and make whatever I want. And it's more flexible so I can make my own structure. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that one. Nothing wrong in none of those. So I think both have great power, both give a really good feature set. It's just whatever you think is gonna fit more your workflow. But I think I had a couple of questions here.
Yeah.
All right, could I use an AWS secret manager with Kustomize? Not sure what that means. Like secret manager meaning like you can pull from the AWS secret manager and to Kustomize. I mean, I don't think that's completely related because the thing is like if you want to inject AWS credentials into an application, you can write bash script that pulls that up, creates an environment, an env file, and on the fly, before you apply and customize, puts it in the same folder and applies it. So if that's what you're trying to say, I mean, that might be, I'm not sure if that answers your question, but I'm not sure what was the actual question. If but there's not an integration itself with Kustomize and AWS, because Kustomize, all it does is just handle YAML files. That's all it does. It doesn't have anything else. If there's anything that you want to do, like integrate with an external tool to bring something there, just write your own bash script that pulls it up and put it in the same file. Or if it's already on the environment variable, maybe you're going to be way better off. Let's say if you're using Terraform and you need to deploy something, you just use the Terraform tool to get those credentials, puts it on the same place, deploy, and then disappear. So in that way, it wasn't never there. So right. So it's just not sure if I answered your question, but I'm trying to see what was the angle of the question. So I hope that answered the question. If not, you can let me know. The other question is, do I need to install anything on my cluster to be able to use Kustomize? No, zero, niente, nada. No, that's the whole point of Kustomize. You don't need anything. And I had to be also clear that in the new version of Helm, you also don't need to install anything on your cluster. So Helm version 3 is free from using the tiller. So you don't have to have the tiller neither. So both tools right now, today's day, they are free of any dependency on the cluster. However, in the client side, in your machine, Kustomize also has zero dependency because it's already built in on the tool that you use. Helm, you do have to download a binary to use Helm. It has its own binary beside of the kubectl. So that would be my answer. Do we have anything else, Hitomi, on the chat?
1 second. So the question about the AWS, the secret manager, there's an additional question.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, I got another one here. Yes, let's say that I don't have my secrets in the file, but I use something like Vault or secret manager. Oh, okay. So, all right. So let's put in this context. So I'm gonna give you two answers. The first one, if you don't have a secret file, but you have a way to pull that secret, and as long as you pull that secret, and let's say you inject those secrets as an environment variable in the same machine that you're going to apply the Kustomize, you can use the Kustomize feature to read those secrets from environment variable. So you don't have to have a file. I just did the file because, I don't know, just simple to change instead of doing export. But right there, Kustomize has a way to load those secrets from an environment variable perspective. So you can basically load them from there. Now, if you're using Vault and you want to inject secrets in your application, I wouldn't use Kustomize. I would use the Vault already built-in plugin directly into the application. Because what Vault does with that plugin is that on the fly, using the sidecar strategy, it will inject your secrets and you don't have to reload the plugin. So if it's Vault specifically, I will go that route because it has a better plugin, better integration using sidecar. It will be hassle-free. It will do almost everything for you, so you don't have to deal with that. So if it's Vault, if it's not Vault, I'm not aware of any other tool that does it like that. It might be, but I'm not aware. I will use then something like injecting the secrets on the shell that you're going to apply it, so Kustomize can read it and apply it and be done. So that would be my answer to that. Do we have a follow-up?
Let's see. No follow-up questions.
Okay. Anything here from the chat, from the Zoom call?
No.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I mean, that's all I got. Thank you, everyone. Hope once again, I hope this helps. I hope that you can get value. I invite anyone who wants to give a talk. Please, please, please join us. Help us out. Sharing is caring. So share your knowledge, whatever you think it is fine. Even if it's just let's write a pod, that works. And for the next meetup, I think we already have our next speaker is Santiago Campuzano, who he's going to talk about some Terraform and Kubernetes, and some learning that he has like when running Kubernetes in production, and how doing the Terraform integration. So it's pretty cool. For sure, don't miss it because it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be on September 22nd, right? Cesar? Is it gonna be a 22nd, 21st, 23rd? Something like that.
Hi, Angel. Is sorry. Let me a moment.
It's okay, it's fine. You just wanted to see if you had it on hand. So, all right. So, I think it's gonna be around the 20 something. I just don't have the calendar right in front of me, but don't miss that one. It's really good. And yeah, we open to have more speakers. So I'm inviting you guys.
Angel, September 22.
All right, 22nd. There you go. September 22nd is it's gonna be Terraform, Kubernetes, and how doing in production. Some learning, some pitfall that he has, and he wants to share how he had to handle all that. So that's gonna be pretty cool. Itobe, do you have any closing remarks before we go?
No, you already share everything. So
Cool.
great. And then if you would like to share a talk, the form is on the Meetup page. You can submit the the subject and your contact information there. Okay.
All right. Cool. All right. So Angel out, and remember, let's go hit.